Welcome to Podnutz Pro, show number 57. This is a show where we cover various topics in regard to small businesses. And the start of the show, let's just start straight with the introduction. Here is Matt Rainey. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good, First night this week, I can actually have a little time off and relax for a little while.
Okay.
How you doing?
I was doing good. Don't know I think because I started a workout, a routine, but I'm just tired as hell this week. Exhausted. So.
Cool. Yeah, I need to make time for a workout routine, but last night, for example, I thought, oh, good, I'm gonna come home and I got time to relax. Yeah, I worked till 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, not good.
Yeah, so that didn't work out well. And that happens a lot. A lot of times I'm driving home and things come up that I have to do when I get home. So, but I can work from home just as easy as the office. So, just a matter of everybody getting upset with me because I'm locked in the office working and stuff. So,
And it's a good point that you bring that up. And if you have a wife or girlfriend or husband or whatever the case may be, and you have kids, at times, that's a fine line for them to really understand. I do this for a living. At times, it requires me to work after hours or during the weekend for some of us. And, at times, it is a little bit hard to cope with. So, I mean, it happens, right?
it happens, but it's less aggravating because I know I'm charging them overtime. So,
There you go. And for us folks who are on salary, yeah.
yeah, I feel sorry for you. I just get to charge more, and I get to sit in my house and watch TV while I'm working and charging them more. So
There you go, man. All right, so what will we be talking about this week?
I got a few things. The first thing I want to talk about was pretty interesting. I've never seen this before, and it starts about a week and a half ago, where a client calls me, and she says, well, first she said all of my desktop shortcuts disappeared. Then she corrected herself and said it only seems to be network or shortcuts that point to the network.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So if she had a document, let's just say on an F drive.
Right, and it was pointing to the F
an
drive.
Excel file. Yeah, so she might have had 10 of those on her desktop. All deleted. All gone. Connect to her computer. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of shortcuts on her desktop, but they point to local programs, local folders, nothing with a target on the network. So, of course, what am I supposed to do? So I said, well, I said, let's just monitor it. Let's put the shortcuts back. It's only a couple of shortcuts. Let's put them back and monitor it. If it happens again, we'll deal with it. Because once somebody could have played a trick on it, any number of things could have happened.
Sure.
Let's just monitor it. This was Tuesday. She called after lunch. And of course, Monday was Memorial Day, so they were closed for their holiday. So she calls back the next Monday, which is a few days ago, at about 1 o'clock. She calls back. It happened again. I said, okay, so now I really have to investigate because this is a little strange. Connect to her computer and they're gone. Everything's gone. Not in the recycle bin. They're just gone. And she said nobody was at my computer because I was sitting in the kitchen, which is next to her office, and she can see the hallway. She says no one went into my office.
Okay.
When I get back from lunch, I sit down, they're gone. So, okay, well, let's start with the premise that they were there and they got deleted. Because it sounds pretty strange. Doesn't it sound strange?
It does sound strange, and I don't know if I missed this part. Does it happen to other folks in the office or just her?
Just her.
Okay.
No one else. Now, they had just gotten a new server a few weeks prior, and a few of them have got new workstations. She was one of the ones. So she went from Windows XP on a workstation with an old SPS 03 server. Now they got 2011 SPS server. She's on Windows 7.
Okay.
But other people are also running Windows 7.
Okay, so that's the same across the board. Okay.
Right. So I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, where do I even start with this thing? So I'm thinking, okay, if you didn't delete it and no one else deleted it, there's got to be a script or something that's running that deleted the shortcuts. There's nothing I can think intentional that someone would make to delete shortcuts.
No, I mean, the only thing I can think of remotely that you wouldn't see in a small business environment, there's a group policy where a user couldn't customize their desktop, but few people do that, and I doubt that
she can create them because we can create them right then, but they were deleted. So I'm looking. I think the first thing I looked in was scheduled tasks. So I wanted to just see if someone made a task, and nothing pops out at me. I'm just looking at the names of them. Nothing pops out at me. So I move on, checking different things. And what do you search on Google for this? Desktop icons disappear or deleted? It's like a needle in a haystack, right?
Yeah, right.
But while I'm searching for those things, desktop icons deleted, and I think I put network shortcuts,
Okay.
something like that. Because they were just network shortcuts, and I did come up with an article that it was a very, very long article, and it was titled, and it's a TechNet article, TechNet forums, desktop icons disappear. I thought, well, that sounds promising. And as I've searched a few other forums with nothing. But the first post says I have the same problem. Every Monday, the link/shortcuts I have created on my desktop have disappeared and vanished completely. The shortcuts are links to files on my server, for example, an Excel sheet for my administration. Exact same issue. I thought, well, this is good. This is going to go somewhere. It's a very long post.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Get to the end. So I'm reading that thinking, no. But I mean, if you looked at it, the little bar, the indicator bar, it tells you where in the page you are. It's smaller than your fingernail.
Yes, it's very tiny.
Fingernail. So it's pretty small. So it shows how long this post is. So, of course, time is money. I'm charging them for all this research. But I just skipped down just to see if somebody says thanks, that kind of thing.
Right, because then at that point it will tell you, oh yeah, I got the answer.
Right. Anyway, on this page, it did come back with something, and it was almost midway, and it was a scheduled task. And sure enough, it is called, think of the name, it was just called scheduled. That was the name of the scheduled task, scheduled.
Scheduled, huh?
Yeah, the name was scheduled. Very, very descriptive. Scheduled. But if you look at the description, it's under Task Scheduler Library, Microsoft, Windows, Diagnosis. And the name of the task is scheduled. So I look in, sure enough, this thing did run at around lunchtime. And I look back in the past, because of course you can go look at the history. Windows 7 has got nice, tells you the history of these scheduled tasks.
Right.
The last time it ran was the last Tuesday. They were closed on Monday. And I think the login script is, or the scheduled task is to run every Monday when idle for so long. Well, since they weren't there Monday, it did Tuesday. And the first time she's idle for that long is when she's at lunch. So I was talking at my office with another one of the guys there, and he said, I had the same thing happen. He said, but we couldn't figure it out. So I know it's not just me.
Right.
Even someone else in my office has seen this. And sure enough, it disables the shortcuts pointing to network drives. Now, I have a theory of why it does this. I don't think it was designed to do that.
And before we go on, the description in the article, The Windows scheduled maintenance task performs a periodic maintenance of the computer system by fixing problems automatically or reporting them through the Action Center.
Yes, it's very nice of Microsoft to fix those shortcuts for me every week.
Hey, Matt, you were breaking up just a little bit, so.
Okay, we have a storm passing through, so hopefully that doesn't cause too much interference. But so what was I just saying? Anyway, I'm not the one that's seen this, and he said he couldn't figure out what was happening. I forget what they did to fix it, but this thing, and here's my theory. What happens? They're at lunch, right?
Okay.
When they're idle for a while. What happens by default when you're idle for a while? Of course, things go to sleep.
Sure.
I'm guessing, and I didn't test this. On this task, I just right-clicked on it and said disable. Because it was annoying her, for one. And two, I want to be disabled for more than a week to see if it happens again. Because it may not be it, but I'm pretty sure this is it.
Okay.
But what happens when you go to sleep? Things stop working. Network card. I'm thinking the network card went into power saving mode. This thing starts to run. It might check the path of the shortcuts and
say I can't see that network.
I want to delete them.
Okay.
Because if you have an invalid shortcut Windows 7, if you go to like find target, it'll say this doesn't exist. You want me to delete it for you? I think that's what happened. I think it checks the path for you. They're not valid because the network card may be asleep, and let's say the F drive's not responding because it's just checking the path, and it says, "Oh, I'm going to delete all of these for you."
No, I mean that's very good in theory.
The sleep function may solve that as well.
Yeah.
Which normally we do anyway, because I hate when network cards go to sleep, or I don't even like when the computer goes to sleep. I turn the power saving features off. I don't let the computers go to sleep. Anyway, I just want to share that. That was interesting. So clients are crazy, but if you get a call that says their shortcuts to their network locations disappeared, that's not making them crazy. That actually could be happening.
All right. And for those of you that are interested in the article, tiny URL. And it's going to be 3, U as in umbrella, November, Echo, Sierra, Hotel, and 7. That's the article. And it's a nice long one. So if you got a couple cups of coffee, go right ahead and read the whole thing.
Yeah, and I actually read a lot of it. But luckily, on those tips, on those long forms, go to the bottom. It's a good tip. See if has anyone solved this yet at the bottom? If they did, it's probably not your issue because they're still looking for answers. But if you see this worked great for me, thanks. That's scroll back up and read some more.
And the one that Matt Rainey is referring to, the answer was posted on September 27, 2009, 10:58 a.m. If that helps you filter through that whole thing.
So it's good to know. I like when Microsoft deletes things for you automatically.
Automatically.
It's fantastic. So not all fixes are quick and easy.
You don't say.
I don't. I do say that. Some of them are quick and easy. This thing might have took me from start to finish an hour.
Okay.
I think I charged the customer an hour for this.
Okay.
But I want to, when you're doing business support, and if you're doing home user support and looking at going to business, it's kind of hard for people to charge for things they should charge for. We talked about it before, but I'm going to give some more examples. A lot of stuff in business support is quick fixes. Less than 5 minutes. Don't you think so, Lola?
No, I agree. And I will tell you, because for my daytime gig, there are times where I have to drive out to a site. And many times the drive there, not drive there and back, the drive there is longer than the time it took to fix.
Right.
So.
And we do, or I do 95%.
Say it one more time, Matt, that you do what?
I do 95% of my work is remote work.
Okay.
On-site work, I send them a text out for that. I just coordinate where they're going and do as much remote work as I can. So And they do remote work as well because I'll give them a job. If they can do it remotely, they'll do it remotely. Our first